They wanna shame us. We built this country on our backs, but any crime they blame us. It's Louis, corrupt, If you got a friend, we can add one. Interact with roof freaks and their addicts too. From a place of darkness close to where the sun set. Was from Canada, cover right off of the balcony. We flying high if I know that you're down for me. Travel for months, but you still wait around for me.
Together, we can harm the next generation with all the tools they need to succeed.
Please welcome another special guest. We got Louis King. He's an incredible artist. He's a teacher. He's a man of many talents. He's making his way through the metaverse. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me on the show. You know, it's good to be here.
Do you mind starting off telling us exactly where you grew up?
I grew up kind of traveling, moving around. My dad is from Nigeria, so most of my brothers and sisters, all of them pretty much, besides my sister, my youngest older sister, because I'm the youngest, but I had a little brother who was born in LA. And the rest of my family is all in Lagos and Abuja, Africa, and Nigeria specifically. And my dad, my origin starts with my dad and, my mom as well, because she was an awesome activist, filmmaker, artist, creative, all. But my dad comes from Nigeria, and he's in the national ensemble in Nigeria, which is meaning the Olympics the Olympic team for music. And to give people an idea to understand, Nigeria is between Nigeria and Ethiopia, they're the largest populated countries in Africa. So the most amount of people are in Nigeria and Ethiopia, and Nigeria is like Hollywood. They call it Nollywood. It's the third biggest film market in the whole world. You literally only got Hollywood, Bollywood is second, and Nollywood is third. So this is a major market that serves all of Africa, not just Nigeria, it serves all. So my dad was actually a star musician in Nigeria and in all of Africa, and was brought to the United States on tour, and was facing real type of scandals. I always tell my pop story, but imagine that you were signed to Universal or Sony, you know what I'm saying? And you were shooting a movie. You had your own TV show, The Daily Show, Jon Stewart, you know what I'm saying? And maybe this show was on Paramount or, like I said, Sony or something, whatever it is. Imagine that they didn't like what you was saying on that show. You was talking about, hey, police brutality, they killing our brothers and sisters. So they didn't like that. So they came and went around the whole studio. Imagine not like a studio like we record music in, a Paramount studio, a Sony studio, a whole block studio with gas cans, and burnt that motherfucker down from the outside in. And my dad just didn't come to work that day. He was the star of the show, the person that says the shit, decides what, you know what I mean? It was called Hauser, and it was a famous show in Africa, not just in his country, but in all of Africa. So syndicated throughout all these different countries, So he had been I don't want to, I don't know, you know what I mean? I don't want to tell his, but his story essentially affects my story a lot, because, he is offered to go on this tour with the National Ensemble, and he's low key, I'm straight. I got bread. I mean, I don't want to say bread, but I got I'm making a living off of doing music. And I'm he wasn't what people think of when they think of Africa, fools living under bushes and stuff. Dude's an intelligent dude, educated, was an accountant before he was, you know what I mean, doing this other job that he got as the star of the show. And always just can play every single instrument, you know what I'm saying? So they came to America, you know what I mean? He was oh, I think I will take the tour after all that shit started happening. It was a lot of electricity scandals in Nigeria. And when he got to America, they went on a tour of North America, which sounds crazy to me because I'm from LA. A tour of North America is like everything is. What do you mean? That's the U.S. and Canada, But to something like that, that's like the place you want to be. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the tour, their last show was in New York City, and this company left these 12 Nigerians, took their passport, took their money, took their luggage, and left these 11 Nigerians in Central Park. And they just had to figure it out for themselves. And my dad was walking through Central Park, they was doing shit like collecting bottle caps and make it, you know what I mean? Throwing them bags, get that money that way, whatever you could do, you know what I mean, to survive in this new country. You don't even know nobody. They walking through Central Park, these dudes is playing drums like how they play at Venice Beach or something, you know what I mean? And they walk by and they like, yo, like, I know that I know the rhythm you trying to play. This is how it goes. So imagine it like this, like we listen to Tupac, you know what I mean? So if I said the song like I ain't mad at you, and then you was like, if I said what's the next line after that? And you'd be like, I ain't mad at you. You know what I mean? It's imagine if someone was like they singing a song like, I am not mad at you. I am not mad at you. And then you walking by, you like, like they from like Bali or somewhere, you know what I'm saying? And you like, oh, you know what? I listen to Pac, like I grew up off of Pac, like this is how that song really goes. And you sing it for them, and they like, oh snap, like how you know. So that's how it was for my dad. These people was learning these traditional African rhythms that have a real meaning, a real, they're not just someone trying to copy it. They like prayers almost, you could say, And he said, oh, this is how that really goes. And they said, oh, wow, this is incredible. You guys should come with me to meet this guy. And the guy's name was Baba Olatunji, who is the father of Africa in the country, the father of African music, you know what I mean, in America before Fela Kuti, and Baba took, I think, 3 or 4 of these 11 Africans and put them in his band, the Drums of Passion. And Baba was like, that's my godfather, you know what I mean? So I'm named after him, Bandele, and my Yoruba name, and it means follow me home, because it was like this guy who's like a superstar, and Baba was not only, they was not the first, like the father of African music, they were literally the first group ever in America ever to be signed by a major label from Africa. And so they were doing all the records, like how WizKid is jumping on a lot of, and Burna Boy and all that. They were the first round of that, like the first ever rendition of that. So they did all the Carlos Santana, Grateful Dead, Rolling Stone. And you listen to Michael Jackson Bad, you're going to hear my dad's percussion on it. And they did all of these major acts. They were like ripping off these African guys. Like these guys, like my dad ain't never got one royalty ever from any Michael Jackson song. I'm not saying like I'm mad at them. I'm just saying like all this stuff influenced me as an artist as I was coming up and growing up in LA. Now I'm in LA. Now I'm, gangbanging, but my mom take me out of LA, want to put me in Santa Monica, still LA, but a little bit closer to the beach. Same shit, different side of town. The difference in Santa Monica is 5 minutes. Every single record label, Universal, Def Jam, Republic, Interscope, everything is there. Paramount is right there. MTV is all on one block. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up also around like knowing, the hood shit, but also knowing like being close, like knowing hella people from these record labels, like who was signing people and was signed and all of that shit. I seen all that shit just naturally around me. So I just to say like my dad's journey, to say that's how my dad's journey affected me, to say like I had to figure out a way that was independently going to guarantee my family's success and agenda being prioritized. So that's where we are now.
Yeah. Yeah, that was going to be one of my next questions too. But who besides your dad would be an influence on you musically and artistically?
I just am like a sponge when it comes to, I listen to shit that I don't even like.
Yeah.
I do. I listen to all the pop commercial records, if it's a mumble rap shit, I don't fuck with it. I'm gonna listen to it. I'm gonna listen to anyone just to get, so influence wise, I'd say you can be influenced, but not let them influence you, right? You're listening is gonna, it has influence, but it's not gonna make me not gonna sound kind of rap, make a beat like Metro Boomin. But I'm gonna listen to it and I'm gonna fuck with it. It influences me. So I would just say everything, and that comes from me coming from world music. I didn't grow up. All of my friends, whether they was black in America, they grew up listening to like the shit that a lot of people listen to, like their parents listened to in the '80s and the '70s. Like my dad is like a legendary drummer. He's 84 this year, so he's a older generation than all my friends have parents that are like, you know what I mean? Like I'm really cool. I always say like shout out to Layla Steinberg, because I always like we are good friends, that's like my mentor, I learned a lot from her, but I always felt like we could have a close relationship also because our parents, like I always felt like our moms are like remind me of each other. You know what I mean? They both come from the 60s and they are into music and the creativity and letting the flow move you. So I always felt like, just the wisdom of my parents being able to be older than most of my friends' parents allowed me to be, and just what they did for a living, being world musicians, allowed me to receive more types of music than just only, so I only rap and hip hop and whatever was in that pocket, R&B and like what we're supposed to listen to. So I say that first, but then aside from that, I obviously how we know each other through the Outlawz, and Edie and Tupac was no question the most. I loved all the revolutionaries. I loved Bob Marley, and I really felt the characters of these people. Like it wasn't just about the music, because for me, my dad and my family, our music always had a message. It was like, um, like he has a hit song with Carlos Santana, and this was an American hit that people know this song like around the world, not even American, but like it goes jingle, jingle bye, jingle bye bye, go bye bye, go bye bye, go. Like that's our shit. That's like that's essentially like Chief Keef having a hit song and then Kanye West remixing it and being like, look, this is Kanye's song. That's that shit I don't like. That's what happened. That's our song. Carlos loved the song. Let me break that record. Let me make that a hit on my album. And that's a world hit. We all know that as Carlos. And I say that to say, like, Carlos Santana was a pioneer for being able to bring these type of dope musicians on tour and on the albums. So I don't say that in any like resentful way. But I say that to say that like that song, the real meaning of that song that people don't know is that shit means, where's the weed man? Where's the weed man? Where's the weed man? Go bye bye, go bye bye, go. He's coming, he's on the way. That's what it means in Yoruba. You know what I mean? So for me, I was always attracted to the artists that had song that meant something. And Tupac was just like at the top of that list growing up in LA and being someone like him who was like traveling around, like because his parents was like part of something bigger. My godfather was literally marching, playing drums with Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? Like they was literally classmates at Morehouse. You know what I'm saying? He's on the Tupac album. If you listen to The Rose That Grew from Concrete, you will see the song The Rose That Grew from Concrete is actually spoken by my godfather, Baba Olatunji. So I have this connection to Pac also because Layla Steinberg, who became Pac's first manager, she also started her own like music career as an artist herself. She's an artist, right? And she started it out I don't want to say started out, but like she toured for many years with OJ and OJ's All-Star Band. And that's another legendary, Nigerian drum legend. You know what I'm saying? Just not even culture legend. And so she started out with him, and obviously him and my godfather, like there wasn't so many Africans in the game. So anyway, you thought you was getting an interview about Louis King in the West Coast, but you got the African starter pack.
Oh man, I love it. That's exactly what I like about doing these, like these type of conversations, man. I
Yeah,
learn something new every time.
yeah, man, this is a good one, man. It's
Definitely. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, and I'm glad you gave me that rundown, man. I really love
yeah.
it. How did you meet Layla Steinberg through all that?
To kind of continue that story, like, and I always get nervous, yeah, it's always weird talking about people, but I say that to say, like, first, like, just what you were saying, like Tupac was just above everyone else, and what I listened to, what I liked, who was my favorite, you know what I mean, and who I liked the person he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or at least what I seen, like that's what I respected, you know what I mean? Because I was around a lot of like gang members, you know what I mean? It wasn't about that. It was like, but this brother doing it for a purpose though. This brother got a purpose. I ain't seen that, you know what I mean? And so, throughout my childhood, really my adolescence, I ended up going, like I said, when I was a certain age, this gang, I didn't say this, but this gang in from LA, a well-known one, uh, if you know, came to my house. It's like 11 years old. They came in the middle of the night. Our house was like an iconic place where, like I said, people would come, always play drums, sing, dance. We would make drums literally out of wood. We was the first ones ever in LA making drums. Like before Remo's, before any of these Guitar Center had African drums in stores, we was making them and selling them in LA. Yeah, this gang, they came to our house in the middle of the night and spray painted all over the wall and then burnt the whole spot down. And, mind you, African drums are made out of wood. So it's like, imagine you got a studio, you got like a house that you live on top of the store. The store is where all the drums are at. The house is on top. You know, they came, burnt it, all the fire spread, burnt all the drums. We don't have no insurance, and everything was made out of wood. So we lost literally everything. And I was so young, like I didn't really understand like the gang shit like that, but they went as far as to like spray painting it to let motherfuckers know like who it was, and all I just remember like the dogs barking, you know what I mean, and just barking and us running down the stairs, pretty much like waking us up like in the middle of the night, like 4 or 5 in the morning, like, yo, like wake the fuck up. There's a fire, and the fire was coming up the stairs, and uh I have a little like I'm not like a fire starter or none, an arson, but what when people are like kind of like attracted to fire, like there's a word for it, like when I
Yeah.
was 10, 11 years old, we had to run through this fire that was on the stairwell. It was just imagine you on the second floor and there's fire coming up the stairs and you the only way out. Motherfucker, you better run, pick up something. You nigga that couldn't get nothing. Got my dog. One had two dog. We wasn't nothing you can grab, so we just got our dogs. Fucking just jumped through that motherfucker for real. Ran downstairs. I had rabbits and shit. Niggas burnt to a crisp. Nigga, everything burnt to a crisp. I was only 11, so I didn't like understand it. You know what I mean? I didn't understand like, when you 11 and it's hard to like, 12, 13, you know what I mean? Understand like that, like a motherfucker want to kill you, or you gonna have to try to kill somebody. Like that's a crazy thing for an 11-year-old to like know is true and be dealing with. But there are plenty, you know what I mean? Like in the life that we lead, you learn early because you didn't see your cousins, your uncles, some of our parents, get killed, get arrested, get You know what I mean? It's a sad thing, you know what I mean? So it can desensitize you pretty early. And, you know, to connect it all back to Layla, you know, from this happening, I then my mom sends me to school in Santa Monica because I never lived in Santa Monica, you know. But my mom was like, "Shit, I have a another family member who's also happened to be a famous singer who wrote hella Beyonce's last album. Shit, shout out to my dog Laven. That's like my little brother,
Yep.
Laven Collie. And I use Laven's mom was in the band with my dad and was just like a help, like a caretaker for me while being in the band type, because we just had was like cool like that. Because I was always in the band. I was a 2-year-old in the band. I was a 3-year-old playing drums on the stage always, you know. And like so when I went to Santa Monica High School, I met this girl that was just like I met, you know, my peoples and shit, my tribe and shit. And one of my good friends was this girl, Devaney, you know, shout out to Devaney. Just probably one of the most solid people I ever met in life. And you know, I'm not gonna talk too much, uh, you know, but I will say that like, yeah, Devaney was a great friend, and she essentially introduced me to her mom, but her mom it's just her mom. We weren't thinking about music or anything at that time. Just like I would go to her, you know, we would hang out. And one day, this is why we get back to it. One day, you know, this is after high school. Like I said, I go to this club. I have this Project International Slap. It was like my first joint that was like really popping off. And internationally, I did it collaboration with this group called Loopholes in Norway. They're from Oslo, Norway, and it went viral on this mixtape website called Dat Piff that back in the day used to drop mixtapes on Dat Piff. You know what I mean? You know Dat Piff, I know you know, but you know, to any listeners. And so yeah, I was like feeling good, like independently, you know what I mean? Me and this group just made it together back and forth. Charlie Tuna was on the album, you know what I mean? That was like my first main feature. Yeah, so we was doing some shows from it, like had a little motion from it, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, like they talking about they want to book me to do some shit in Norway, you know what I mean? And in Finland and these little Scandinavian countries, not to say little, but there's, you know, they're close to each other, so
Yeah.
you can hit multiple countries. And so yeah, I went to this club. My boy LJ introduced me. Long story, but this is the real story of how it all, and I always tell the story. My dude
Yep.
LJ connected me to this, brought me to this club. He said, yeah, they want to book you. You know, the real story is, while I spark up, you know what I mean, is that they gave me some weed. I get to the club, they gave me some weed. Now, mind you, I say this in the interview for educational purposes because I always used to try to hide like the little shit like this, you know. I grind and put my ego to the side for this, yo. I didn't ask hella favors. I didn't fucking like, you know, played positions that wasn't the star position, or, you know, for hella people's careers, done whatever I had to be, you know what I mean, to get even in the door, you know what I mean? So at this time when they like, yeah, they want to book you, they giving you me weed and shit, you know what I mean? They put me in a little special section of the club and shit. I'm like feeling like, okay, like a little accomplished, like, you know what I mean? Finally, I'm getting a little, you know what I mean, love. And so I go, they gave me the weed in the club. I walked down to get to ask like to where a 7-Eleven is so I could get a blunt. When I walk into the coat hanger area, I say, hey, do you know if there's a 7-Eleven this way or that way I can run to right quick? He said, yeah, there's one right left. But what do you need? I say, oh, I need it. I'm back then, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I used to smoke swishers and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I saw a swisher. He said, oh, I got you right here. You know what I mean? He had like selling swishers in the club. They smart businessmen. But when he said, "Oh, I got you," like I heard this accent that was almost like New York, New Jersey, you know what I mean? But it was also like it was more like familiar. It was like, "Oh, like do I know that accent from a place?" wait, I know that accent specifically by the person it is. And I remember, like, mind you, like, I'm from LA because, like, I grew up in most majority of celebrities, because I want to say majority, but like, I done been in some of your favorite rappers' music videos when they was coming into our hood pretending they was from our hood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we was just kids really from there. You know what I mean? So I'm not like, we not starstruck out here like that. But it's like the Outlawz was my favorite group. And I know I'm
Yes.
taking a long time to tell this shit, you know what I mean? But like
It's
it
good.
just it is what it is. Like the Outlawz just are my favorite group. You know what I mean? And Tupac is my favorite rapper. And so to me, it's like, I don't care what no one else like. I don't care if you like Lil Baby. I don't care if you like Drake or whoever it is. Like, there's no one that I could have seen outside of Idi Amin that I would have felt that same excitement for. You feel what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was literally like, wait, aren't you? I was like, wait, what's your? And then I was like, I caught myself, right? And I was like, actually, my bad. I'm Louis. You know what I mean? I remember that. That was exactly how our first interaction went. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
switched it back and I was like, what's up? Like, and we just started chopping it. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm Edie. I was like, nigga, I don't know you, Edie. I mean, like, we start chopping it, and I just said, we just talked about some things. They was doing a 20th anniversary outlaw tour or something, like, you know what I mean? And just like you said, man, just like we were talking earlier, just Edie is just a real person, yo. You know what I mean? Just like a real person. You could feel that energy with him. He just solid always. Like, mind you, you got to think, like, when I first started touring with them at not one show, like back to back to back to back, and then we did that whole Europe tour. Then we just came back to home and then did a Canada tour, and continue just touring around the world. Really, like, places I've been, from Africa to fucking Nepal. And, these are just a few, like, and with the Outlawz, before I ever really started my own, like I was touring myself. I was I was on tour, the Pac-12 tour, and did hella shows. Like, I went to college and kind of created my career, you know what I mean? Like, just out of my base, using it online, and like using kind of some of my like street credibility, you know what I mean? Really, like, before I had that, and I was a football star initially. Like, it was so hard to get niggas to see really who I was always. I was always a musician. That's who my dad is. I'm the mini, you know what I mean? So like, when I met Edie, we connected, we exchanged contacts, and he was telling me about the tour, and we exchanged, and it just felt like a good match. But I had met so many people in LA also, like other celebrities that just like, and rappers, and just people in the industry that, you could talk a big game, but like, very rarely, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very rarely is someone gonna follow up with you. Like, I'm doing the following up for sure, but very rarely are people even going to respond to you.
Yeah.
Especially back then, I didn't have none of the, you know what I mean, like, same type of accolades or none, you know what I mean? And so, but I had this project, International Slap, and so I left, went out the next night to a art gallery. And I always tell motherfuckers, like, don't, like, hustle, focus on your work, like, have great work ethic. Like, don't fucking be in the club when you don't got your music or your priorities, you know what I mean, straight. Like, handle your own shit. But like, if you're from somewhere like LA or New York, or like really wherever, like, you also gotta go out and put in that work, or do it online. Like, you have to like show up places. And that's how you meet people, and them people can change your life. But the more places you show up, the more chance you're gonna have of finding that network. So I have this happened on Friday, and on Saturday I went out to this art gallery. That was my friend. Shout to Avila Santos, super dope. Also another dope, like, artist. I'm gonna shout everyone out, MC, and just Brazilian, like, I don't know. He makes super dope stuff. Shout out to the West, Generation West. Avila was down from the long, so I went to see his gallery, and Avila's mom and Layla are like very, very close. You know, they're tight. We're all from the West Side, and pretty much I seen. Yeah, that's where I met. That's where I not where I met Layla, but that's where I reconnected with Layla after like high school, and from there on, like, you know, then I went to like the first show with Earl, you know what I mean, and you know, it's been, if Layla also met works with Earl, and Devaney also works with Earl Sweatshirt, and Fauna Hughes, another incredible artist. You know, she's got her a lot of hits already on her own album, and she's on like Tyler the Creator's album, and a lot of stuff with Brett Fires, and she's on the song with me and Ab Soul, Anybody. So, you know, uh, that's how I kind of reconnected with Layla, and then yeah, I always it's a funny story. Yeah, like I did, and I had met these two people who were like very close to Tupac, you know what I mean, in within these 2 days, you know, and then Sunday came along, and I told my mom, and she was like, "Oh, you should ask Layla to call up Edie, you know, about the show." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Oh, mom, like you know, that's not who I'm always like. I never want to ask for help,
Yeah.
not because I don't like, not because of like necessarily the ego thing, but we all have ego, but I'm just saying like more so because I like to contribute. You know what I mean? Like I want to offer value to you. You know, I want to show you my offer. I'm not just gonna meet someone and just off the back ask them a favor. I usually like to show my value first. But luckily, you know, we had time to build up, and I told my mom, nah, mom, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? And then I guess I thought about that shit. And as I thought about that, like, man, you better listen to your mom, man. And I did. And I called Layla, and she was like, Psh, absolutely. Like, Psh, I'll call right away, you know, or whatever, you know, call whenever she get a chance. And she did. And, you know, that led to, you know, Edie and Noble reaching out to me, maybe not even a day later, and saying, yeah, we're gonna give you a shot on this run. You know what I mean? And from there, I think really was just like our energies match, because I also like I make film and I'm a creative artist. I do a lot of creative work for the other artists I work with, whether they're independent or major. I'm always trying to show something that I could bring to their team, you know, to their career, that I'd like to do for my career. Because I really, you know, I didn't have all the resources, but I had the creativity to like, all right, I learned how to make films and make movies and edit, and you know, did that shit for big companies like Snickers and Altoids, and you know, and so when it came to like working with rappers and different singers and different people, companies, it was like, yo, like for sure, I got you. Like I can, there's I know you know 1,000 rappers. So if I try to offer you that, you're not really gonna be, you know, impressed. So it's like with the music, I think for sure it was a obvious connection between my music and the Outlawz, because that album International Slap didn't sound like nothing else that was coming. There's like people was listening to jerk music, and my shit sound like just, it just was not that. It was like some kind of a boom back, but like its own new
Yeah.
musical kind at the time. You know what I mean? Like, you know, music evolved, so what sounded new then is not necessarily new now, but it sounded nostalgic, and it didn't sound like it sounded, the people who like the Outlawz and who like Tupac and who like music that hit you in your heart for real and make you feel something. It was music for those type of people. It
Yep.
wasn't about getting turned in the club. It wasn't about getting, you know what I mean? Not saying that there's nothing wrong with that, but it was in that it was a perfect match for the Outlawz, because it was also, there was, you know, peaks and valleys, and the Outlawz will make a song, they'll give you a hit 'em up, they'll give you a Hail Mary, and they'll give you a Dear Mama. So it was like peaks and valleys, but it's all unique stuff with instrumentation, real musical, sonically sounds good, you know what I mean? And I'm come from that, so I was really into that, and we really just we like to grind, man. We grind. That's all, I don't want to talk too much about it, but what I will say, I keep saying that, but what I will say is that he would wake up in the morning, man, go shoot a music, get to the place, shoot a music video, shoot an intro, shoot something for another. We coming to Wyoming Hills next week. We'll see y'all. Go for, you know what I mean? Shoot, send them that, shoot this, make a little clip. Like every time we doing a show, I'm going directly from the show, the concert. I'm opening up the show, then I'm going directly from the venue to the hotel where I'm cutting the footage for that I shot with my camera that I brought on tour. And then I'm editing it and making like a full, just little clip, you know what I mean? Clip, you know what I mean, behind the scenes on tour.
Yeah.
The clip was like what a label would pay a videographer to go on tour with them and do. And it wasn't like necessarily we discussed it. It was more just like once it was like, oh, you could do that? Oh, you doing that shit? Oh, hell yeah, do another way. Like, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
wanted to show my value. I wanted to show them like, yo, this ain't just gonna be like, I ain't just trying to come and take some fans from you or something. Like, I really fuck with y'all movement and I want to be a part of this. And eventually, like, I got this footage that's just so valuable to me from our last show on the European tour in Ireland, in Dublin. And it's of me performing, and it's shot by Fatal. And it was my first tour with Fatal. And it was like Fatal seeing me putting in the work for them, like no one was telling me like, hey, can you do this? I would come set my tripod up, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And as a solid person, as a solid human being that wasn't like, yo, I'm a celebrity, so I just deserve this. As someone was like, yo, I see you. And you know what? I'm finna come up here. I see you been recording our shit. I see your camera right there. I see a tripod. And he came up and started recording my set. You know what I mean? And so I just cherish that footage because I'm like, man, Fatal Hussein shot this, like, you know what I mean, on my camera, like, and so I always like will give him that, like, that's the type of person he was. And later that night, like I told you, I'm not the type of person who's always trying to like exploit people and like groupie people, like, bro, like I take this shit seriously, bro. I've been doing this shit since I was 3, bro. Like since I was really before, you know what I mean? But like actively performing, being part of this movement, you know what I mean? So when it comes to like, the homies, now we done been on tour this whole run in Europe, and I'm like, obviously we're on the road together, so we're in communication and we're in connection, but I'm also like, I'm not over talking them. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to make sure I'm on time. Whenever we go somewhere, I'm on time. I got my stuff ready to go, and I'm not going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to cause any other burden for you. I'm only going to want to cause a benefit. So, or bring a benefit to the table. So with Fatal, one night after Ireland, he tells me, hey Lou. And I was like, what's up? I was like, what's good, fam? He's like, you know, uh, I just want to let you know, bro, like you can always like come kick it with us, bro. Like stay, like rock with us, like hang out with us, like, because they Ireland, in Ireland they call them the Fighting Irish. They called him that for a reason, bro. So stay close. And I always remember that. That's my quote for Fatal. I was like, so
Yeah.
whenever, like, I just think it meant so much to me that like he went out of his way to have like a real relationship with me. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's a human thing to do, but that is a rarity these days, and these things help me grow in the industry, knowing them and learning like, yo, like be a solid person first. You could be a gangster, you could knock a nigga out that's talking that shit, like don't get it twisted, but like treat people well. And they showed me that before I had anything really like that. They like there wasn't really not that they was trying to like use me or not, like there was nothing that they could get out of me. You know what I mean? Like that it necessarily I was like a benefit. It was just like obviously I try to, bring value, like I say. But what I'm saying is that I didn't have a million followers. I didn't have $1 million. I just love making this type of music, and I study the music y'all made, and I'm trying to keep that movement going. I will always be connected and to that family. I'll always say I'm Machiavelli trained because I come from the school. You know what I mean? So that is my story, of
Yeah.
the game with them, and yes, still to this day, like that's family. Like we working on some stuff right now, that I'm not gonna talk about, but yeah.
I love that, man. That Outlawz is definitely my favorite group as well to this day.
Yeah,
I'm glad
come
you
on,
rocked with them, man. I'm still doing it. That's cool.
bro. I feel like I have so many connections with people from around the world because of just what you said. We share that, you know what I mean? And that's like a bigger connection than like
Yeah,
I motherfucker probably that live next door that we're not as connected as that because
yeah.
we didn't share that. That's like develops how the people who we become, you know. So love to you, brother.
Yeah,
You know,
thanks, man. Yeah, it's weird thinking about it. Like even when I was younger, I'd always be before the internet was getting too big. As I was always looking at, where, I wonder what the Outlaws are doing now. Is the Outlaw? And I just followed them since I was a kid, and then it's connected me to you now.
right? Yeah, it's super cool, man.
I
Super
want
cool.
to ask you, like, one of my favorite songs of yours would be "Where Will I Go," man. That was cool.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that because I feel like a lot of my people in my community don't even know about that song.
I love
And
it,
then
man.
thank you, fam. And then for a lot of people, that's like the backbone of my work. You know what I mean? Where will I go is like, me and Layla and Aim for the Heart, which is the nonprofit we work with. We go into schools and prisons. I'm telling you, bro, I'm about to chop that footage there. I performed that song today in class. I went to a class today, about 30 kids, mostly Hispanic, Latino, and they wanted me to perform a song. And so I said, oh, y'all want a happy song or a sad song? Because my shit is all ages, you feel me? Like I got shit for the adults, but I got a lot of like I do a lot of shows in schools. That's our shit. Aim for the heart, you know what I mean? We're not trying to, we're breaking the school to prison pipeline. So we hit the schools and we hit the prisons and the places are that need more support. So in this school today, yeah, they said, "Oh, we were on the sad song." I said, in my mind, I was like, "Oh man, like, I'm gonna go to try to channel into this because you around the kids, so you all but it's important that they know this stuff because this is education. This is heart education. It's such an important thing, and we'll talk about it more later. But essentially, I performed that song, man, and it touched me. Like, and I'm glad you asked that. Like, it's crazy,
Yeah,
and the reaction, like, bro, like these two little girls, and more than just the two, but specifically these two little girls, they all start taking they care. They don't have phones. They're only second graders. So they have these little Chromebooks. So they start they moving, they picking the Chromebook up. They filming you on the Chromebook. They surrounded you on the screen. It's really a funny thing.
yeah,
Like if I had a chance one day, really, if I had just like an extra, if I could go back to that classroom and say, hey, all of y'all upload that video to y'all took of me and send it to me. It would be a fire video. Imagine
yeah,
it with a one performance with like 20 kids videotaping it from their computer. It was pretty cool. But
yeah,
but essentially what happened also in hearing the lyrics and just feeling how the song feels and in person is different because it's a certain energy, but honestly, you don't have to be there because it's a vibration, right? From the sound. Like scientifically, it's a vibration, and man, these little girls bless their hearts, man. And mind you, there's one black kid in the class. He's like and I say that to say, like, so when I share this story, these two little girls, man, they start crying. first the one start crying, and I start hearing kids say, she's like kind of hiding her face, and I'm like, first I'm thinking like maybe something happened to her. Maybe a kid hit her, like said something mean to her, like, you know what I mean? Like during this, you know what I mean? Then I start hearing people saying, like, I'm not gonna say her name, but we'll just say like blah 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 is crying, Mary's crying, like they're second graders, so they don't not, some of them are just not mature enough to like, but by the end of the semester, the workshop, that's the goal, is to get them, we all not go, we always get them, like that would never happen at the end of a semester. But on the first one all day, that could happen, you know what I mean? Because they're still learning to share their emotions and to read the emotions of themselves and others and assess, and so she start crying, then another girl start crying, and then they was saying that, so in the between my song, I'm like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, don't say it, you know what I mean? But I'm
Yeah.
still singing, I'm in it, where will I go, I'm not welcome here, and it's okay, it's
Oh,
okay. But like that, don't make fun of her, but I go, so I
yeah.
do the second verse, and then yeah, like, I just at the end, I just let it ride, like let them cry, like let them do what they do, like let them have the reaction, you know what I mean? Because it's important,
Yeah.
and after the song, and I've never had this happen, but I never like stayed in the classroom, or like, I don't know, it's weird. Like I guess I've done plenty workshops. I mean, done workshops for thousands of kids, and there have been people cried at the show, from songs, that's a special, that means a lot to me. It means the feeling is resonating, you know what I mean? Because I could cry telling the stories really how I feel, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? These girls just kept crying, like they couldn't even take their math test. Like I had to like excuse them to go to get, like they just couldn't
Yeah.
stop crying. And it made me think like, yo, like, well, they are Latino, you know what I'm saying? But they like don't quite necessarily, like it depends where their background is, who their parents are, where they live, this and that. And they're definitely, I mean, so they may not have felt that, or it could happen for two reasons. One reason is you have felt that before. You felt that hate, or you've just felt like, where will I go? I'm not welcome here. Like it might not even be a racism thing. Like it could be really about whatever. You just feel like you're not welcome, you don't fit in, you're not being received. Or maybe they hadn't felt that. And maybe they listening to the lyrics and feeling like, damn, like I've never like, this is like a black guy, like the rappers I see on TV. Like maybe she knows a lot of black people, but maybe not. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe never an adult, you know what I'm saying, rapper at least that you see in music videos or something. Not saying she, you know what I mean, but just
Yeah.
seeing it and hearing it from a person that really done been through this and can probably explain it maybe a little bit deeper than someone their age that's been through it. Because when I was their age, I don't even know the words I couldn't even begin to understand. I'm still learning every day. So yeah, man, I just had to share that story because, eventually they got it. They got back to their work. It was fine. The day went fine. And
Yeah.
and but I mean, the whole point of it that I told him really is that, I make this music, I do this literally number one to affect people, to make people feel something, to inspire something, to whatever it is, to express something and to bring some type of, maybe empowerment to them to do the same things and go do it in something else in a different realm. I want to be the best, I want to be I'm gonna be the best podcaster, journalist, writer, media professional ever. And I fuck with what Pac is doing. This motherfucker going harder than these motherfuckers. I'm finna go hard on these motherfuckers. Like Kobe Bryant, like you don't have to play basketball, you the Mamba, like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's that energy. So I'm trying to bring that energy. And I told him, you know what I mean? And you now will write something and you will know, look, you have the power to change someone's life with something that you just wrote and you just shared, and you had the confidence and the power to share it, and that could change someone's life. So yeah, man, I love that song, and I really wrote it for the movie High Privilege. It's Me, Chelsea. I wrote it for Chelsea Handler's movie, but I
Yeah,
wrote it from my own perspective, like you know what I'm saying.
I've listened to it so many times, man. It's yeah, it definitely gets you. I
Have
love
you
it.
seen it in the movie?
But
Have you seen?
nah,
Oh, you got to see it in the movie. You got to see me perform it to Chelsea Handler, and you get the full version because there's another verse you ain't heard. It's in that movie only,
high
and it's
privilege.
typically that yeah, High Privilege is Me, Chelsea. It's on Netflix.
I'm gonna watch it today.
Yeah, Kevin Hart is in it. Tiffany Haddish, Jelly Roll. Me and Jelly Roll was in a similar place in our career at it, and Chelsea Handler flew us to Princeton, and we met, and he performed and I performed too. We both performed at in Princeton and hung out in the green room. We shared a green room, and he gave me his line, and he said, "Oh, uh, he said, you a singing ass motherfucker," because I performed that song. He said, "You old singing ass motherfucker. I like you." I said, "Oh, I fuck with you too, bro." Because he's super talented. Even back then, he was
Yeah,
amazing. And obviously, a couple, I think like a year or something later, I was in Nashville with Anderson Paak and Earl and Thundercat at the Ascend Amphitheater, and see that the Ascend, it's in Tennessee. I hit up Jelly Roll. I say, "Hey, are we playing out here at the Ascend? You know what I mean? Come through. You know what I mean? I'll put some tickets out for you." He said, "I'll be there." You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's funny we connected, and now it's like winning Grammy best
yeah,
artist here at the Grammys is crazy. So everyone got their own journey, man. You gotta celebrate people, man. You know what I mean?
definitely. I love that, man. How you're so, I don't know, you're so talented yourself, and you also support everyone else as well. Like, you're an awesome guy all around as well.
Thank you, brother. And yeah, just even just mentioned on like the whole move, that soundtrack, that song,
Yeah,
really I wrote it for Aim for the Heart,
yeah,
which is the nonprofit, the workshop that we write songs for these stories that need to be told, from Ahmaud Arbery to Breonna Taylor and the Trayvon Martins, George Floyd, Michael Brown, like just could keep going with the stories and real songs, and you look at like Pac used to do that, you know what I mean? The song Trapped, you know what I mean? Like I'm
yeah,
not gonna share the whole story with that, but some of these songs were made specifically during this same workshop, the mic sessions that Layla started in her living room,
yeah,
and we write on a topic, you know what I mean, and we all write on a topic and we share our pieces, and so that's the power of uh, of collective writing and expression, is that like let's all write a song about privilege and
yeah.
just see what happens.
Man, that's cool. I wanna, speaking of movies too, I've seen that you worked on the soundtrack for Solo.
Oh,
Man, what was that like?
bro. So that solo was just fire.
Yeah,
Like the experience was super fire. So these people, I had worked with them already. Shout to Encompass, you know what I mean? I probably uh yeah, they're just like recruit for the top movies in the world. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
The top Hollywood movies. This time, yeah, they just said there's a movie. They didn't say what it was. They actually had one of these in the like they pointed at one of these. And I
yeah.
didn't understand it because I don't understand what's one of these, but the brand of this is Solo. You feel me? Of this, I didn't understand why it was in there. There's a company making a certain movie, blase blase, and they want you to come to Malibu
Yeah,
with, my dad obviously is a OG at this shit, you know what I'm saying? They want that authentic shit, yo. They want that real African shit, yo.
yeah,
And they said, yo, we want, we want y'all to write some shit that sounds like an African spaceship alien adventure club, an African spaceship alien adventure in a club. This was, you know what I mean? That's like pretty much line line for line, like what the reference was. And you know, we came, yeah, you know, we came up with just like we sat there in this Malibu, I don't know, studio that was like a home studio, but a really nice house with one of the top producers of like just literally just like three of us in the room. I think my mom came too because it was like too big of it. My mom managed my dad from when I was a kid. So imagine your mom is your dad manager, but my mom was also in the band and a dancer and just doing everything really, raising me. Like, you know, she had the role too, you know what I mean? For sure. Shout
Yeah.
out to my dudes. That's the reason why I'm here for sure. And God, you know, bless me, my dad, my mom, I think like two people from the production, like the company that was booking us for the other company, and then just the producer, the composer. And this dude was like Ice Age 2, Frozen. Name the top ones he did them all. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? All the soundtracks. And yeah, we came up with that shit. And there's a scene in the movie like where they're like in this space club, and there's like a bunch of like kind of weird exotic aliens like dancing, and there's kind of this like fat alien blob creature that's like kind of running the shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't know if you've seen that movie, but
Yeah.
there's
I'll see it.
that. Yeah. So we did the sound, we did like a lot of that stuff, and that was really cool. And yeah, I also did, we did Rise of the Planet of the Apes before that. That was my first shit. And I did that at 20th Century Fox. And I actually there, and I was like the youngest. That was like a collection of like all the top African like people from different, and I was like the youngest person on that shit. I couldn't even read music back then. Literally, I'm in the fucking Sony studios. They got full orchestra, full studio. I'm talking about multiple $100 million studio. Like fuck $1 million. This is Fox Studios that, you know, these motherfuckers got this huge room where they can have a full orchestra, and they got a full movie screen playing the movie. Then they got their own like other studio where they're watching, you know what I mean? You're watching from in the studio. Shit was crazy. And then there's all these incredible singers, African singers, and everyone's microphone is like individually miking them directly. So it's like they could cut, they're recording all of us at once singing it as like a choir, but they could cut people out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And they're having us read it off this fucking music sheet.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest one. Plus, I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I grew like I don't even like I couldn't read music at the time. Like
Yeah.
now I teach music, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
back then, like I didn't, I'm looking at the paper pretending. I'm like, I'm hearing them. Every time it was the first time we would record, I would just sing along. I'm jumping in. Oh, I'm on the O on it. You know what I mean? The
Yes.
second, the third round, now I memorized it. I love you know what I mean? I know it. You know, the third one. But every time we did the first line, I just was literally like like just replicating whoever else was around me right then and there. And they probably knew it, but the second and third ones was good enough that they wouldn't, they never like I don't
Yeah.
know. I have a problem with me because they was calling motherfuckers out. They was like number six, you're a little flat there. Like, you know, talking about I was like, I was really like nervous and shit, you know, and that was the first one. And obviously now, yeah. So it's super exciting doing this stuff, working like licensing and doing soundtracks and stuff like that. And one thing that I really have grown to value, and I was telling my homie, is like looking at your own heritage and what makes you unique. And you know, I'm not from Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? I'm not the nigga that like gonna be had the most fucking ice. Like that's not my shit. Like I might have a
Yep.
chain on or something, but that's not who I am. I'm not. There's so much shit I'm not. You know what I'm saying? But who I am, you know what I mean. When you focus on like the parts of you, you know. So with the African music, like growing up as a black man, you know what I mean. Which really to us, like we just Africans. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But you know, and I'm like, I'm mixed all over the place. I got sisters that's Muslim and cousins and I got Jewish and Christian and Yoruba and name it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Around me and my family, you know what I mean? But I will say, like, with the Yoruba, I grew up embedded just in the African drum and dance, and so tapping into that because a lot of people will say, oh, you know, African booty scratcher, this and that. Like they really make you
Yeah.
feel like it's not cool to be who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like if you if you are Australian American, you know what I'm saying? They make it like cool motherfuckers be acting like they just only American. Like, you know,
Yeah.
if Asian people, Asian Americans, they be like trying to act like they only American, like you know what I mean, like because you got to be the more American commercial you have, the more socially accepted you'll be. So you got to talk like this and all, you know. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, like be who the fuck you are, you know what I mean? And me, I'm fucking I come from all these things, you know, different places, not just African either, you know what I mean? I could go into all, but it's like cherish that info. And to me, that's the reason why I'm clearly that's the reason why I've been able to get uh this specific boundary or barrier to entry
Yeah.
is like I found I'm in this niche that like there wasn't so many people that were doing these type of gigs, but there's a fucking million rappers that want to do a rap song in a movie
Yeah.
that's gonna come out. You know what I mean? So and I do that too. I
Yeah.
didn't did shit. You know what I mean? If y'all know my crew, you know what I mean? Shout out to Crown, you know what I'm saying? Because House of Vibe, Beacon Street, you know, we work on a lot of commercials for different advertisement companies. Yeah. Oh, you gotta, yeah, you definitely should get on with Brew. You know, he's a legend. He used to tour with Prince,
Yeah.
everyone from Prince, Charlie Tuna, Talib Kweli, you know what I'm saying? These niggas is from Fishbone. You know Fishbone?
Yeah.
Fish of Fishbone, the drummer, Fish, is the drummer of House of Vibe, the band I play with. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Brew rock with House of Vibe, but Brew also with like the Untouchables. If you know that band,
Yeah.
he's in that. And anyway, man, there's a whole lot of that. But
You're like
yes,
connected everywhere, man. It's awesome.
and there's always something to talk about.
Yeah. How do you do it, man? You're just into everything. The more I was like researching you too, I was just like going down rabbit holes and I was like, man, you're such an incredible person.
Oh, thank you, man. That means a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What you doing too, man? Come on. I wouldn't have sat with you, you know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
respect yeah, man. I appreciate your time, man, your energy.
Thanks, man. You're killing me at that movie now. I want to know what it is.
Oh man, no, that's so funny
Oh,
that you
God.
no one really has ever you asked me about that. Like
Yeah.
people mentioned it, but no one really asked me about that. Like it's funny because I never really told that story about not reading the music and pretending to read it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that was
That's pretty cool.
like 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost.
And I wanted to ask, I bought the Traffic Jam EP off iTunes as well. Been playing that all
Hey,
week.
oh,
Man,
yeah. That's a
I
sleeper.
love it. I love it, man.
That's a sleeper. Yeah. I put that out right on during the pandemic because it was like there's no traffic in LA. Meaning like if you from LA, this was a time really when there was no traffic in LA. And that shit is crazy to say because LA,
Yep.
we have different traffic. I'm telling you, I done been around the world. I done been to country, you know, the Bangladesh and India and these type of places who have like so many fucking people, you know what I mean? New York City for sure.
Yep.
But I never done seen a place where the whole city's so big as LA. New York City traffic is in a small area. LA traffic is the whole fucking LA County. And all these cities got traffic at 5 o'clock. You're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, during this pandemic, brother, you sliding. You up and down the freeway so fast, ain't even no cops gonna give you a ticket. I'm moving weight.
Wow.
I mean, I'm moving like I'm hitting the wheels, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it means. No traffic in LA. And so the traffic jam was the EP that was like,
I love the Traffic Jam song and Footwork on there.
oh, footwork. Yep. That's
Yeah.
like
I
that
love
came off kind of off of that Anderson .Paak. I did
yeah.
a lot, I rock with Anderson, man.
Yeah.
That shit.
He's a legend as well. Man, yeah, that I really love that EP, man. It's been playing that non-stop as well. But you got heaps of good songs. I love it. You know, like I was saying for House of Fire, you got Try It with Edie I Mean on there.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
Damages, I love Damages. The
Oh,
video is cool too.
yeah, you know the people in the Damages video, you know who they are?
You, Juice, Young Noble, Edie.
Oh, you do know. Oh, yeah, you see it. Yeah, no, that's funny. I put it in there. Yeah, that's funny. But you know your research. But yeah, people I'll be like, yeah, that's like Outlawz family in there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
And
who
I
we
knew
shot.
straight up too, like 'cause see like Noble and that like loves Egypt, like always got videos from there. And
Yeah,
Juice, I follow him as well.
I helped shoot a lot of those videos. You know what I
Wow,
mean? And also this brother Jay Synth is like an incredible filmmaker that sometimes travel with us. But yeah, man, I fucking love Noble, man.
yeah,
Noble is my dog, man. He again Noble, Edie, Fatal, you know what I mean, and just the whole family, like
yeah,
always showing love. So yeah, that was cool. We shot that in Egypt, and a lot of my community, my Web3 community, they they paid excuse me, I would say they I want to say like invested, you could say like they're collection holders. I'm trying to explain like the Web3 terming, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? They're collectors, they're holders. So they hold these NFTs and they have value. You know what I mean? They bring a lot of value along with utilities. But one of these utilities for the damaged song specifically for that NFT was, and that song is still only exclusively, you could only stream it on Gala Music or you could watch it on YouTube. That's the only where you could hear that song. So it's like those fans. Oh, I don't even say fans because that's my community. I know these people. I can't even. That's my community. Those are my people. Those are my friends. I go and meet up with them in person and shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And we went to Egypt, shot this video, and they were the executive producers with it. And that was part of the utility of owning an NFT is you get to be part of this video and you're gonna be in the credits as well because you are part of it.
I did
You know
see
what I
that
mean?
the list of names come up.
Even like to the point to where like I have this song with Snoop Dogg that's like like one of the big songs that I have on Web3 on Gala Music. Shout out to Gala. And it also features this singer Hope, who was one of my favorite singers ever. You know what I mean? Just always anywhere, you know. In the Discord, specifically like in the Discord, one of my friends in the Discord who is a holder, shout out to Vicious and the HC Hogs, they had the idea that was like, yo, when are we gonna hear a song with Louis and Hope?
Yeah,
I would love to hear something like that, man. So that literally manifested into the song with me, Hope, and Snoop.
wow,
So that's not, you see what I mean? That's where Web3 is different. This is a direct relationship you have, collectively, human to human.
yeah,
It's way more valuable. It's valuable to me. The relationship is way more valuable than, you know, really anything else. You know what I mean? And so yeah, man, Damage, shout out to, there was a lot of people that support and putting some like damaged together. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. That's awesome. I I was gonna ask you too, yeah, about the Web3 stuff. Can you explain that for people who don't know? I'm still new to all that as well, to be honest. Like the Web3 and how it all works.
Well, do you have any crypto or anything
I I, I did
so far?
before, and I always sort of guess like took money out at the wrong time, or but yeah, I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, it wasn't like it didn't necessarily like you ain't necessarily hit nothing on it or nothing, so it didn't like
Yeah, I
buy
wasn't
you
sure what I
like
was doing.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean I know how it is. I really wasn't sure. I stumbled upon it too. Like the
Yeah,
like what crypto Web3 in general, Web Web3 is the metaverse, crypto, the blockchain, NFTs, currencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum. These are real currencies that have value, such like the US dollar has value, which can appreciate and depreciate. The difference is the US dollar does not have a finite value. So you can print a US dollar. That's what's going on right now. Someone's printing a US dollar. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Government, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
essentially in Web3, these currencies have a finite amount. There's only this amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum. You know what I mean? And so the amount can appreciate, the value can appreciate or depreciate much faster
yeah,
than regular. Now that can be a good thing or a bad thing, right? You know, you want to put your life savings in some,
yeah,
probably not a good idea right away on something new or small, or you know what I mean? Like these Ethereum is strong, is pretty strong, and Bitcoin, you know what I mean? So you talking about Bitcoin is at like maybe 64,000. I was gonna buy some more yesterday.
yeah,
It was 61. If I would have did that, it would have been 64 today. It's going to 71,000.
yeah,
So think about it. Ethereum's around 3,000. You got Solana also is in the hundreds, you know. And I don't want to get too deep about these, but but this, if you think about it, is like if you maybe don't put your life savings up to get started, but imagine someone who put in $500.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And that $500 was you put that in when the value of the Bitcoin was 12 cents.
yeah,
And now that Bitcoin is 64,000.
yeah,
That 500, that's not gonna make or break your bank account. You feel what
yeah,
I mean? But it could fucking blast you off to it, like, and so that's kind of the
yeah,
thing. And you buy the major ones, you buy like Bitcoin, and then you use the Bitcoin to buy altcoin, which is
yeah,
other. And so there's a bunch of all this Web3 loop we could go into the metaverse. That's like when you talking about like Facebook changed their name to Meta.
yeah,
Why did the biggest company change well, they got this product called the Meta Quest that really
yeah,
take you into the metaverse.
yeah,
So there's all these things, AI even, you know what I mean? But it's the future, it's tech,
yeah,
it's tech. These are contracts being minted on the blockchain. That's what an NFT is. It has value. And my music, what it means to an artist, right, is a painter could sell a painting.
yeah,
That's regular. Artists now, you said you bought my album, like hell yeah. Like I definitely, you know what I mean? I wish I wish that's what motherfuckers was doing for even the biggest artists, but
yeah,
that's just not the thing. Even when you see like, oh, 100,000 sales, like, most of that shit is what that means in the algorithm when it's converted it from streams.
yeah,
You see what I mean? It don't mean
yeah,
100,000 people bought fucking that this specific album. It mean a certain amount of people bought it, and this is the equivalent that the streams. So, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Type shit. So it's essentially. I don't want to go too far off the rabbit hole, but essentially, what you're doing is you're saying, hey, if I'm a musician, I can have a painting and sell it too. My
yeah,
song is I'm selling it. But now my song has a value. My song is like a coin or something. It has its own value, which can appreciate, which is a painting has a value. It can appreciate, you know what I mean? Uh, the difference is this coin, this NFT is on the blockchain. This painting is on the blockchain, so it actually has uh it's DeFi, decentralized finance per se. So I don't want to get too much into it, but for anyone that's an artist, you selling your music on the blockchain and you're can sell it for whatever, like a painting could, you could sell, like you choose the price. It's
Yeah.
your choice. You're valuing your shit more. It's not that I'm against Spotify. It's not that I'm against anything. I have shit on all of these things. I did just like everyone else through the loop. I done had joints, you know what I mean? But you can do both.
Yep.
You can do both, or you can not, whatever you want to do. But to not, this is where it's going. It's
Yeah.
just that's what people are not gonna, even the biggest artist is gonna say once they seeing what other people are doing, you know, it's good when you got the money, you know what I mean? You just the top guy, blase, blase. And that's awesome. Like you probably don't even care. You just thinking of what, you get money, but like eventually you're gonna see people getting money off of this that's a different level.
Yeah.
Not even eventually, already. And so they're gonna want to get involved, and it's just this is where it's going for sure. People are not gonna Artists are not gonna sit around and see something like this taking place and not get
Yeah.
involved. I see it already. It's just I don't have to never convince no one about nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't care, fuck with it or not. I'm gonna tell you what you want to know what I'm doing. I'll tell you, but
Yeah.
you know, I I'm not finna sell it to you. You just, if it sound good, maybe you should try it. And I believe that no one is gonna say, my music is not worth this amount. you know.
Yeah.
So that's what it means. But then on the consume on the other side, I don't want to say, I'm gonna say consumer, because but how you consume music, right?
Yep.
Say you got a Spotify playlist and your Spotify playlist got 1 million followers on it. Well, how do you make money off of that? That's incredible. You got 1 million followers on a Spotify playlist, and you
Yeah.
know how many people put they real effort into doing shit like that.
Yeah.
The real way you could make money is, hey, I'll put you on the playlist. Give me $100. But you are setting that up. That ain't something they set up. That's a hustle you make, and you have to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be, you know, now imagine if instead of some shit like that, imagine like if Spotify just paid you. Spotify directly paid you because you got 1 million followers.
Yep.
1 million people come here to hear your shit. Psst, what? So in Web3, how it work is like, at least with Gala Music, is if you collect my track, right, you now are earning rewards from how my song performs. So a
Yep.
song like Damage that goes number one, you're earning rewards. But the thing is like music, people keep playing songs, so you just keep earning. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And now as something like Gala Music, right? As something like this is, to get, keep getting more valuable. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So as that gets valuable, you this also your track could get more valuable, your painting get more valuable, but this could happen. So yeah, like you earn rewards for the tracks that you own, and there's a limited amount of tracks. And so like if there's like 100 tracks or something, those 100 people who own that track kind of split the rewards throughout them, right? And the less tracks, right? The less, if there's only 50 tracks, right? Then that shit's worth more because
Yep.
you're only splitting it between 50 people, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
that's kind of how shit is uh valued. But essentially you earn these rewards consistently as the song is being streamed, and these rewards come in the form of Gala Music token, which is a token in itself, like Bitcoin. Damn, who's calling me in New York? Like, I gotta pick up New York. That's my bro, Lil U, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Michael, you know what I'm saying? And he is the son of Big U, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, a lot of the stuff, like we grew up around a lot of that. Big U was Nipsey's manager, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, imagine growing up and like that's like your brother's dad's artist.
Yeah.
And you like, and he like, nigga, we listening to the CD before. I'm talking about like the CD burned from the computer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, that shit is hard as a motherfucker, yo. Like, let me burn that shit. And cuz
Yeah.
like, nah, cuz. And I'm like, why not, cuz? He like, my dad will be hot, cuz. You already know, cuz. He literally said, cuz, blah, blah, like, and I'm like, this is literally like before motherfuckers know Nipsey Hussle. Like,
Yeah.
then by the time like I got like in the hood, niggas knew Nip, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
for sure. But like this nigga went world fucking wide, nigga. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, he is inspiration to us all. Like, even with this Web3 shit, it's just crazy that Cub would call right now because
Yeah.
like, that's like another link that I have with Corrupt too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of like that family, now Corrupt popping up at the barbecue of our football team. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's like when I'm like a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that,
Yeah.
and then it's like
I see that song you got on mine was corrupt too.
yeah, it was like again, like one of these,
Yeah.
like, oh shit, oh, we know, like, oh shit, like this is crazy, small, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
World family already, you know what I mean? So Nipsey, though, what I was saying was like Nipsey, he was doing that's my bro, you know what I mean? Album like
Yeah.
$100, I'm gonna charge 200, 100 for my album, you know what I mean? I'm gonna charge, 1,000 for my album with the following one, you know what I mean? And so like
Yeah.
that's essentially, if you want to understand Web3, he was ahead of his time. Look at
Yeah.
really, that's what I'm charging 200 per song
Yeah.
on this last album. I charge 2,000 per album if you want to buy it collectively. You know what I mean? And like how Nipsey say, it's like proud to pay. It's like the motherfuckers who own it, like them motherfuckers, they to them it's there's no question the worth of it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because we've been on a journey together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about my community in Web3. Like we've been on a journey
Yeah.
from dropping these songs. We dropped Our Mind on Web3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it didn't even say corrupt on it. People was like, yo, like that's motherfucking corrupt. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and so man, but Nipsey, yeah, he did that. The cool thing about this is it's on the blockchain, so it's like that $200, that 2,000, you know what I mean? Like that that actually earns you now
Yeah.
uh real rewards. And like I was saying with the Gala token is like, yeah, you might be earning like a little amount here, that blase, 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 blase. But as that Gala token rotates, imagine that shit is at like, I don't know, maybe 12 cents right now or something like that. Like maybe less. I don't know, somewhere around there. You know what I mean? But which is pretty damn good. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
shit for like, you know what I mean? Imagine that shit, $200 goes up to
Yeah.
$200. That literally that NFT that you own is worth hella money, and you can literally just sell that shit right on now if you want to just get the US dollar for it. But probably it'd be smart to keep it, because imagine this is like the rookie card of your favorite basketball player.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
you think if niggas knew that they could, and let me say it without cussing, because you know what I'm saying? Because it's a good quotable. You think if brothers knew that they could flip a song for 100, 150, 200, maybe even 1,000, 100,000, a million, if they could sell one song for that they would be on the block selling crack, sherm, even weed. It ain't valuable. Like you could always make a song. You know how long it would take to grow a plant? I didn't did that. I done grown plants myself. I could tell you, I thought this was great. This shit is really, they say money don't grow on trees. This shit really literally do grow on trees.
Yeah,
But that shit take time. And music is art, man. It could take a year if you want. It could take an hour if you want. It is what you choose it to be. It's your art. But that's my message really with this Web3 is to empower people to value their art and treat their art as an asset financially.
definitely, man. I want to ask you I ask everyone this: what advice would you give to someone starting out, whether it be music, anything, film, whatever it is?
One thing about me, I'm a teacher, so I deal with hella different students. Like I would never give like the same advice to everyone. Like I whatever you know what I mean, specifically, but you know, I guess I would just say, this quote that used to be on my wall, and I'll say a lot of things. There's a bunch of different things I would say, but there's this quote on my wall when I was growing up, right? And it says, the kid who believes that they can and the kid that believes that they can't was both right. So it's like what you want to do, what you believe, what your vision like. Man, there have been people that is whack at something.
I
And
love
hey,
that quote, man. That's cool.
how hard you working, man? How hard you go, you could do whatever you want if you believe it. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think you just can't do it if you don't believe it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could catch a football if you say, I never thought I would catch a football. Yeah, someone toss you a ball, you might catch it, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about like some real shit. Like you want to put hard education as a class in every classroom in America or every school in America. You can't fucking not believe in that shit and do that shit. So
Yeah,
that's why I say the kid who believe he can and the kid who believe that he can't are both right. I love that quote. So
yeah,
that's what.
definitely. I like that as well, man. I love it. Do you have any books that you'd recommend that you've read and had an impact on you?
Oh, I love that question, man. So like the one that was pretty much I had like a little book journey. I really fuck with books. It's about finding time to be consistent, like anything like working out and you
Yep.
know what I mean. The first book that like I really rocked with this book growing up, right? It was called well, first of all, like on some business shit, you know what I'm saying? Like just in general. Napoleon Hill, like I rock with this dude, Napoleon Hill, like the long way, Think and Grow Rich. And before that, I read Outwitting the Devil, I read after, but there was another, the first one is like something about it's some another one that he has, which was the first one I had. And Napoleon, are you up on Napoleon? You fuck with Napoleon, right?
Yeah, I love that. And Robert Greene as well, and
Yeah, yeah. That
yeah,
like kind
all
of
that shit.
that what you call it, like motivational shit type shit, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Game, I love that shit. That I started reading that really Think and Grow Rich, I think, when I start going on tour, like literally right before I start touring with the Outlawz. That's what I was reading before that manifested in my life.
yep,
Literally Think and Grow Rich, or or whatever that Napoleon Hill book was. And then, matter of fact, I gotta find it right quick. But the book, I'm gonna get three more books because I fuck with this question.
yeah. I'm
uh,
glad.
so yeah, books. So let me just find the name of that book. Outwitting the Devil, Think and Grow. The Law of Success. The Law of
Yep,
Success. That was the one that got me like, oh, I rock with this dude. It was just
yep,
like really cool. And then so yeah, that was one I fuck with. And then Earl, which is called Ever Always Real Life. That was the DMX's book, the autobiography of Earl Simmons. And that just had a great impact on me, just like seeing going through his journey, kind of like the autobiography, like not the biography, you know what I'm saying? Like he wrote this, you feel
yep,
what I'm saying? So like it was a certain authenticity of the storytelling that wasn't like this ain't Moby Dick, nigga, but like DMX is like a fucking poet.
Yeah.
And the experiences that he's going through are just like unimaginable sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? And he's just describing how he got kicked out of home and he in the fucking, boarding home with this other kid and they fucking got in trouble, him and another kid, and he didn't like the other kid, and they fucking said that they wanted to see if they made them clean the fucking area, and they said that they wanted to see they were alone cleaning the cafeteria or some shit, and they wanted to see if they could make the walls turn black, if they could make the walls turn red, if they start a fire, if they could make the walls turn orange, or some shit like some kid shit that like only a
Yeah.
kid would think about,
Yeah.
and they lit boarding school on fire and shit. And like he said his friend snitched on him and shit. And like, it was like a lot of the shit that I was dealing with personally from my, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
imagining me, like my life was different than a lot of the kids that I was in class with. It was like, oh, these niggas try to kill you and burn your house down. And these niggas
Yeah.
this, and like you hearing the stories that my dog telling you on the phone, like that shit would go down everywhere, any day, always. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? In the middle of the street where it's 300 people, and I was in the middle of all of it. Not because I was like a yapper. I
Yeah.
was the quiet dude that's gonna be, I'm in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm in there, you're gonna see what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
for me, because it was different, I had to learn to have discipline because I was a national championship football player. So I spent a different amount of time preparing for my battle. So it wasn't like
Yeah.
you could hurt someone really. And now you learning like, yo, you could fuck your life up just for doing what the other homies do. That's different for you because you trained for this shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So uh so yeah, this dude, this legend, this iconic, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, mentor, it felt like from reading that book. That's how it felt. You know what I mean? Like, yo,
Yeah.
this dude is ill. Like, and it's sad too. It
DMX.
touched me, like it touched my heart hearing it. And when I heard the music, like
Yeah.
I knew DMX was. I listened to DMX, but
Yeah.
it like affected me, slipping just like that song just really, you know, was a force in my life. You feel me? And so when we did our joint, when I did the DMX song on Famous in the Metaverse, you know what I mean? We wanted to do something like special that was kind of in homage of that slipping. That song affected me,
Yeah.
and that book affected me. And one day, yeah, I'm in the park by my house. I walk to the park and shit, play basketball and shit. I'm walking back. I'm walking up to the court, and there's like this coming by me, like coming toward me. As I walk up, it's like a dude driving, the remote control cars.
Yeah.
These things is going fast. Like these ain't no little like kids' toys, nothing. Like these things is moving. And like you got this at like Radio Shack, not Toys R Us, you know what I mean? And it's DMX. But I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I knew if it was Cuz or whatever. Like, I just thought the toy was cool.
Yeah.
So I walk up and Cuz is just solo. And he's like, and I'm like, look, I'm just watching that shit as it's coming. And he's like, you want to try? And I was like, I'm like, I'm telling you, this happened like a little bit after like niggas came to my, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you this shit when I'm like 11 and niggas came and burn my house down, you know what I mean? Now I'm at the park with it. You know what I mean? Walk to the park. I'm just solo kid. He don't know none of that shit happened to me. He don't know none of that. He just doing his thing. And DMX is just at the park solo playing car remote. I mean, this is the type of dude he was in LA. He not even from LA. He said, you want to try? I was like, hell yeah. Took that shit. He had two of them shit. So now he give me one. I'm driving my shit. He driving his shit. Now we racing and shit. Now there's a group of people that come and follow. They like around looking at us like like kid parents and you know what I mean, some kids and they watching and like I'm thinking, yeah, like this race car shit is cool, right? Like, you know what I mean? And really I'm not knowing like, oh, this is fucking DMX, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, you know, like uh yeah, man, I'm Earl. You know what I mean? That's what he introduced me at. You know what I mean? And anyway, uh that book, you know, that's my shit, you know. And then this book by Monster Cody, you know what I mean, who was from A-Tray Gangster Crips, who really was like a rival to like the neighborhood I was riding around with, you know what I'm saying? And you know, they it was just an incredible piece of literature, man. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like and that when I was in high school reading it, I I didn't like I had like a dislike on my shoulder for where he was from, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I never had read a book. They was giving us books like that we wasn't my nigga, like I don't want to like I don't identify with this shit, bro. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like you know, like you go and I don't I don't know the Great Gatsby. Like, I like Gatsby, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what a nigga from South Central know about that? Cause you know what I'm saying? Like, or from Venice or from fucking Indianapolis or Indiana or Alabama or like, you know, that shit ain't made for us. You know what I'm saying? We just happen to be, they allowed us to be in this education, but it's not, you know, I don't want to get political, but I work to change the education system. So with this book that I've, you know, found, I was like, yo, this shit is the hardest shit ever. Like this nigga talk about niggas was they start shooting at these niggas on Hyde Park and blah this and that, and these niggas start pulled up on them on La Brea and we blah blah blah, and these niggas came up around the block on Slauson and Crenshaw and these niggas and they followed them up to 85th Street and you know what I mean, like this shit was crazy, like you know they
Yeah.
using real names of niggas you didn't heard of and shit, like and I'm like yo this shit is an incredible books are can be fire.
I gotta
I'm
check
watching
that out, man.
flick series. Oh yeah. But yeah, man, those are like three impactful ones for me for sure. Lots of others, but those ones,
I'm glad I asked that.
yeah, cool
Also, want to
question.
ask who's someone that you haven't worked with that you want to work with? Because I know you've worked with a lot of people, but who's someone you still haven't?
Dre.
Dre.
Yeah, we got we got some connection, we got some stuff to do. You
Yeah.
know, some stuff to work on. You know, come on, man. I grew up in LA, man. Like
Yeah.
rapper, like I love the LA production scene, and I rock with Hit Boy and Mustard and
Yeah.
so many other guys. But like, come on, man. I pulled up to the Best Buy myself, cuz caught myself Chronic 2001, like nigga,
Yeah.
my little 15.99 saved up from the piggy bank, went over there, caught my own joint. You know what I'm saying? I think I don't even think of my mom, you know, I don't even know. I just know, yeah, I saved up money and bought that Chronic, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, the album.
I think
And
that was the
so,
first one I bought too with my own money.
is that really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, doggy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. See, but you know, we rock with Pac too, so it
Yeah.
makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you really surprised I want to work with Dre? Like,
Yeah.
like,
Definitely, man.
yeah, man.
I love it. Yeah, I had a big list of questions here for you, and you've pretty much like covered all like gone through
Yeah,
them all. They've all led into each other without.
yeah. Once you
Yeah,
get me started, doggy, it's a Riz app. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. I seen you on Sway as well. How was that experience?
Man, shout out to Sway. Sway was just a stand-up legend, and uh, I was honored to be received on the show and just be able to share and talk about you know some of the cool things that we're doing right now and the album Famous in the Metaverse and you know man it's that I'm a hip hop head man like come on it's Sway like you know what I'm saying we that's what we You know how many times I done sat up there and imagined we was doing that interview, you know what I mean, and visualized it. You know what I mean? It's important. Like if you really care about like the art of this shit, you know what I mean, to be in them type of spaces. And so, yeah, man, I respect the shit out of like dudes like Sway, you know what I mean, who been influencing the game and you know influencing the culture and giving platforms to some of our famous art, our favorite artists who have influenced the culture
Yep.
so impactfully that have been on his show from Eminem, the Pop. You know what I'm saying? You know, do you really need to say any? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not saying obviously, you know, everyone in the game, but it's like, I mean, the Kanye interview, even like,
Yeah.
it's like Sway is such a professional, man. Like, he didn't been through everything, and he always then been kept this character, like, which we gotta protect, like
Yeah.
protect that energy, man. So shout out to Sway. Just like again, I'm talking about this whole interview from the first, like good people, man. Like good people is what I'm just trying to follow and be around the good people. There's a lot of other shit around in this space, and you know what I mean. Being able to be blessed to connect with someone like Sway, you know, is just something that I'm grateful for.
Definitely, man. I'm glad you were on there. I love the freestyle too. You did over the What's Beef beat. That was
Yeah,
killer.
yeah, man. Oh yeah, that's that What's Beef. You
Yeah.
know, just had to give them something off the
Yeah.
top for the love of the culture. You know what I mean? You know
That
you
was
get on
awesome.
stage the first time, one time ever. So it
Yeah.
was important to. I don't know, man. It ain't. It's just then this is hip hop, man. Like at the end of the day, this is hip hop. Like we a different space. You know what I mean? And I just want more for us. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't say that in the sense of like, oh, you know, we feel bad. I just say that like, bro, we've been marginalized in the culture. We was famous before we had segregation laws that allowed us to drink at the same water fountain. You know what I'm saying? Like we had dudes that was super, you know what I mean, Sammy D and all these dudes that was like
Yeah.
popping. They wasn't even you couldn't even walk up in the show. They couldn't even perform up in the Hollywood Bowl, but you knew who they was. You know what I mean? They might have been on a radio or a TV show that you know. And so we ain't never really had control of our own industry. You feel what I mean? Someone, you a banker, your family done worked in the banking industry for, you know what I mean, hella long, 100 years, you know what I mean? 100 years, you know what I mean? Plus, you know, you think they got some of their own stake in it, you know what I mean? But we came in the game in America where this shit was racist as hell and we were not given the same rights. So it's like when you look at people like, you know, my godfather Baba Olatunji and my pops who laid the scene and just all these people, all these not just, you know what I mean, African, but also like people like James Brown who fought for his own career. Like this
Yeah.
guy was a businessman. Like, don't get it fucked up. Like James Brown was a businessman and he maneuvered, you know what I mean, as a black man in the industry. People, you know, there's so many more, you know what I mean, that we could name like you know, uh we talking about like strange fruit. Like imagine you you literally you got a hit song that you can't play because they don't like what it represent. That's the truth that they hanging you on the wall and you saying it in such an elegant way. Strange fruit that is beautiful. You made it into a hit song. They want you everywhere, but they don't want you to play that song to
Yeah.
the point that they got FBI agents impersonating fans to fall in love with you to secretly break you down. Can you imagine that shit? So it's like
It's crazy.
what when I look at like Web3, you know what I mean? Like I see something bigger than just like, yo, like this is just some tech coin shit that's gonna. It's like, yo, bro, we could build our own infrastructure in this motherfucker. Yo, we could really own our own shit in this.
Yes.
That's what I see, man. That's what I see. You know what I mean?
I think that's great, man. Just I love everything you're saying there. That's and you can. I think that's the way forward. This technology to own your own
Yeah.
stuff and just keep building.
Come on, man. That's what we trying to do. You
Yeah,
know?
I'll be supporting me.
Come on, man. You know, thank you for supporting too, brother. You know what I mean? So,
Definitely. I seen your
getting this.
TED talk too. That was awesome. Like you just do everything.
Hey, man, thank you, brother. You see, you heard one tonight.
Yeah. Yes. Is there anything that I haven't covered that you wanted to talk about before we finish up?
I mean, you know, I guess nothing really that stands out, but I guess the thing I wish I would have said at the Sway interview that I touched on at the end when he said, you know, what are you gonna want to do next? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the when I touched on, you know, education, you know what I mean? But we were speaking about it earlier, you know, along with the music and along with the tech and the Web3 and the building of this empire in this space, you know, we we're change makers, man. We're trying to impact change. You know, we're gonna keep pushing and getting our workshops into the schools, in the prisons, and figuring out solutions to be able to create change and to teach people, you know, to, feel each other, you know what I mean, and relate to each other in a different way because man, there's a lot of shit going down in America. We got all these guns out here, man. We got a lot of people getting killed. Like we just got so many more people getting killed in America
Yeah.
than anywhere else in the world by guns. Like it's just like, man, we there's something wrong here emotionally. Like it ain't just like, oh, everyone is mentally everyone is like you know
Yeah. Killing,
whatever
yeah.
fucking excuse motherfuckers say, like something's
Yeah.
fucking wrong right here, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not one person doing it, we all involved and we all feel that way, you know what I mean? And so we never learned how to feel, how to love, how to cry sometime, man, you know what I mean, how to just talk about what you fucking going through to your to whoever. We never learn how to listen. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I'm talking about the little kid who's she's crying, she's crying. It's like, yeah, you missing the point, man. Listen to what she's feeling. She's feeling, you know what I'm saying? So, that's what I want to do is keep that moving emotion with Aim for the Heart and Layla, and shout out to Stu and Courtney and Kiki and the whole team over there that's doing amazing things, and Jay Hoon. And shout out to Gala Music. Make sure y'all sign. Y'all want to listen to my music? Go sign up to an account on Gala Music for free. You could listen. You could buy my songs and you can own them. So where you can make money. And I'm telling you, man, I'm not even gonna say how much some of these guys are making on there, but all I'm gonna say is you should learn about crypto and Web3 and how you can earn in that space, whether you an artist or you're consuming art or you just like, fuck it, I want to see how I
Yeah.
can make a little extra cheddar up in here.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm gonna have a look at it as well, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely everyone check it out and check you out on Instagram as well.
Yeah,
That's
Instagram, Louis King, and go check out Famous in the Metaverse. That's Louis King, LOUIIKING. And you can pretty much find me there on, Instagram, Twitter. Um, and then you can use that link in my profile to find the album Famous in the Metaverse, which features Snoop and Wiz Khalifa, Royce the 5'9", Pusha T, Ab Soul, Big Crit, Currency, DMX, and the list goes on, you know what I mean? So we gonna keep it rocking till next time, but we definitely gonna link up again. And maybe if I end up in Australia on the
yeah.
next tour date, we doing some international dates in the winter. maybe I'll end up nearby you and we'll figure something out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
that'd be cool, man.
sir,
Definitely. Be nice to meet. We'll catch up, man. I'll have to come to the shows.
hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. That'd be dope. To
Yeah.
link with you out there, man. But I appreciate your time and I thank you again, my dog. And
Thanks.
let's tap in here, man. We on now. I knew we was gonna get it going eventually. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
you continue reaching out, and I'm glad we made it happen.
For sure, man. Louis King, the legend.
Oh man, you the legend, brother. I'll talk to you later, family.
Right, bro. Catch ya.
Salute.
See ya, bro.